If you've ever found yourself working late into the night, drowning in that client work and just thinking to yourself, is this just how it is? Is this what I got to do to make money? I got something for you. Because that was me for years, right? I always did client work. That was been the main source of my income for many years. And I was building everything from each client from scratch because I thought it had to be boutique and unique to each client. Every project, every deliverable, every single time was built from nothing for that client. And the result would be 10, 11 p.m. I'm still working. Over the weekends, I'm still working. I'm waking up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning thinking, this is what I've got to get done because that needs to be created for that client. And I thought that was just what happened. Once you hit consistent mid 5-figure months and all of this, that was just how it worked. Turns out I was just bad at business. And I'm going to run through here's how to flip that and how you can flip it so that you can cut your work hours, scale your business, and actually serve your clients and get them really good results with less time, more consistency. Okay, so this is all about the secret to scale, right? And I used to think that all of that work that I was doing had to be custom. Client one, I would do, say, I used to do a lot of sales pages. I would write their sales page from scratch. And it would be, perfect. So this would be here, this would be the hero section, and I'll have to do that, and this would be this. And I think for these guys, they'll need a problem-focused one, and then it'll be a solution-focused thing, and then I go on to the next client, and I'll be like, okay, so we've got the thing, the opening, the heading, and then we're going to go straight into the solution for these guys, and then we're going to have this bit here, and then we're going to talk about the problems. And it was killing me because each and every time I would sit down to do some work, and rather than just getting the work done, I was sat there trying to come up with like cool ways to do it. And essentially, it was like having amnesia. I was rebuilding everything from scratch every single time. I was starting at step 0 when what I could have been doing was starting from step 2, 3, 4, right? Because the result of doing this is you spend way too much time on this stuff. You have constant burnout as a result because you're just doing the same stuff over and over and over again, but not in an efficient way. And my business was capped. And especially if you're providing services, a lot of your income is tied to your time. And so when you're doing everything from scratch, you're really limiting how much money you can make. So I used to do a lot of services. And let's run these numbers, right? Let's imagine, and keep the numbers easy, that you charge $100 an hour and you take on a project that will take 10 hours. So you earn $1,000. Marvelous, 10 hours, $1,000, whatever, right? The thing is, what you've created for that client is $5,000 worth of value. Now, you can't charge them $5,000 because they need to make a profit as well. But essentially, the next client that comes in, you do the same thing again. You make $1,000 for 10 hours of work. And so you're capped here because it's so tied to your time because you're rebuilding everything from scratch each and every time. It's very inefficient. So what I started to do with these was I would find a template that would work most of the time, and that would be my starting point. So instead of starting everything from scratch, I was starting everything from step 3. And I could provide this rather than in 10 hours. I would still charge them, say $1,000, but now this thing would only take me 3 hours, which means my effective hourly rate went from $100 an hour to $333 an hour because I'd built a system and a template that could be used across all of these different clients. The question is, how can you implement this in your business in a way that will effectively increase your effective hourly rate? So the first thing is really simple. You look at the patterns, right? What I noticed was all of the clients that I was working with, and I took the 10 best win sales pages that I'd done, and I looked and I was like, what do these have in common? And all of these 10 best ones, they had these bits, right? And let's just say all of the top performers had those. So then, rather than having to create all of this from scratch, this now became my new starting point template. I realized that typical Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, 80% of the work followed the same structure, the same approach, and most of the results came from using this kind of thing. Very simple. So why was I rebuilding this 80% every single time? I should just have that as the template in the system that I could then use again and again. So once you've identified the patterns that drive most of your success, you take that and you build assets and systems, right? You turn it into an asset or a system. So like I said, instead of beginning from zero, you have a process that's already 50% complete, and you only need to then customize the 50% to get there perfect for that client or that piece of work. Now, the wonderful thing here is you might be thinking, oh, but doesn't that mean that most people's stuff is going to be the same? Yes and no. You've still got this 50% over here that's going to customize it for that client. And what you're doing is you're just making it more efficient for you to help them get that, okay? But also think about it this way, right? Most of the time, a lot of the assets that you see out there, whether it's sales pages, email sequences, systems, strategies, all of this, they're all derived from one person who got massive success, published something like, hey, here's the webinar funnel that I used that helped me generate $100,000 in a weekend. Or if you're talking about webinars, you've got the Russell Brunson, I think he calls it the perfect webinar system. Russell Brunson created this framework for webinars, and pretty much for 5 to 10 years, everybody was using this. There are still people today who use this, and this is more than 50% templated approach, but they customize it for their business over here. And so this isn't like a problem of implementing the same thing in other businesses. People are already doing that. People are doing it in their own businesses. They see an ad that works, they copy the ad. For better or for worse, this is what people do. It's not really like everybody's ending up with very similar sales page formats and all of this sort of stuff. So you're not really going to make it so that you're delivering the exact same thing for each person, but it's all built on the same frameworks. People have been doing it for a long time. You don't have to worry about it feeling like copycat stuff. But the best bit about this is once you have this system and these assets that are working and allow you to be way more efficient and eliminate all of that busy work, you can then sell the templates. And if you see my stuff, you know that I like to go deep with offers rather than wide. So we'll have do it yourself, done with you, done for you. You always start here because this is the money. So in this case, we've done for you. We've helped 20 clients increase their sales. We've come up with a system that then allows us to implement that more easily in those businesses, sell the system, turn it into productized offer as a DIY thing. Hey, get the system that we've used to generate 5 million in sales for these 10 businesses. Okay. Once you've got that productized offer as a DIY thing, it works as the entry point to this funnel to help bring you more high ticket clients as well. This is what I did with my sales pages. I started to templatize them and I started to sell the templates for the sales pages. I still use some of those sales pages and you can still get access to them in the Growth Models Plus community, the templates. What this is all about is it's no more custom everything for every single client. There is, generally speaking, regardless of the business, regardless of the industry, there is an underlying template, system, framework, approach that will work because most great marketing and most great growth is built on basic human psychology. And all of the best assets and systems leverage that knowledge of human psychology to get results. So you use that framework to map it all out, to get the basics there, and then you just customize the 10, 20, 50% that's left for way more efficiency, faster time to market, faster time to results. What should have taken you before creating this stuff from scratch, 10, 20, 50 hours, could now take you 2, 5, 10 hours, right? Way more efficient, which means if you are charging per project, your effective hourly rate will go through the roof because you get the same results, delivering the same kind of thing, but in a fraction of the time. So you can serve more people with less effort. This is basically what I built with Growth Models Plus. It's the same systems that I've been using for myself and my clients to help other people. So if you're stuck doing custom work and you feel like you're never as efficient as you could be, this is what you want to do. Go back and look at your most successful 5 to 10 client engagements. Look at what commonalities between those approaches are across all of them. Use those to create a template and a system that you can easily roll out to new people. Stop reinventing the wheel for no reason. And if you want all of the playbooks that I found that are working and that I continually update, check out Growth Models Plus. You can get a $1 trial by clicking in the description below. But essentially, if you want to scale, it's not about doing everything from scratch every single time. It's about creating a system based on what works, using that system. Sounds stupid and simple, but it really works.